Thank you guys so much for taking the time to be here. My name is Adia, and I'm here to present to you DisasterLens AI, which is an application I've developed to enhance emergency response. Okay, so I actually started thinking about this because um, a couple months ago, you may remember the intense flash floods in Texas, which we weren't properly equipped to handle because we we basically didn't see it coming, right? So in certain situations like this, like you can take this broader. Imagine like a hurricane striking a coastal city. Within just minutes, thousands of desperate people that are in crisis will flood social media and things in order to get word out there that something like this is going on. So the problem is that first responders cannot physically read thousands of tweets in a minute to find out who's trapped and where and things like that. And as you can see on the screen, I found several statistics, such as 60% of disaster casualties actually occur within the first 24 hours of a disaster. So I think that we are losing lives not because we don't have resources, but mostly because we're not able to process the information fast enough. And to solve this, I built DisasterLens AI. Okay, so getting to the nuts and bolts of things, DisasterLens is what I want to call an intelligent triage platform. So it's designed specifically for emergency command centers. Essentially, what happens is that when a disaster actually strikes, the app will ingest raw social media feeds and cut through the noise and straight to relevant posts. So in doing so, it automatically assigns an urgency level to every post and also has potential to geolocate the users as well. Um, yeah. All right. And what this does is effectively shift emergency operations from reactive guesswork to being more proactive and what we've attempted to do as data-driven deployment. Okay. So to make this a viable and enterprise-grade solution, the entire stack is built natively in Python using Streamlit for a highly responsive front end. But what makes this actually innovative, in my opinion, is that it bridges the gap between raw data that you can find in several places to actual geospatial action, basically. Because, for example, we aren't just categorizing text simply in any form. And actually, for this, as you can see on the screen, I use GeoPy, which converts NLP extracted entities directly into latitude longitude coordinates and such that are plotted on Folium as well. So as such, I really wanted this to be more than an ML demo, essentially, to the best of my abilities. I believe that the resulting product is fully transparent as an end-to-end operational tool that's ready to deploy in a command center if, yeah. And actually, this is a good point of like saying like why I use Streamlit. As you know, data science and machine learning primarily Python has like a lot of stuff for it. So Streamlit lets me actually focus on the data science aspect without having to like build and host an entire website per se. Okay. Now this is what my system architecture looks like. So as you can see, the pipeline is in fact multi-layered. And first, we use like NLTK spacey to run parallel NER, which is named entity recognition and extracts the locations mentioned. And yeah, we also have Vader sentiment analysis, gauging distress level and such. Although a little modification was required to analyze connotation in terms of disaster terms, basically. And next for classification, I implemented a highly interpretable TF-IDF and logistic regression model for instant, low compute and like accurate prediction. And recently, in order to implement like the most cutting edge accuracy out there, I've also attempted to build a pipeline to fine tune a Distilbert transformer actually. And this allows AI to understand deep semantic context of a message and differentiates between phrases like oh, I'm trapped in a flood, or conversely like look at this photo of a flood, which is actually I found that to be a massive challenge in NLP. And yeah, definitely one that I've encountered frequently when trying to work with like real-time classification and post like analysis of the same. Right. Um, yeah, over here you can look more about how the pipeline works under the hood. So first step, you have pre-processing the data. And as you can see on the screen, those are steps taken in order to do that. And then vectorization, classification, and logistic regression I use more as a baseline, whereas Distilbert actually took that to the next level in terms of accuracy and classifying the posts into critical to low, like urgency levels. Then we have sentiment analysis, which looks at the user's tone and tries to identify whether it's positive, negative, and such. And Spacey, which extracts the like geographical coordinates, and NER, geocode, which do essentially the same thing, and Folium and Plotly to actually visualize with charts, bar graphs, and things like that, which I will get into. Okay, now coming to the impact, ultimately, DisasterLens AI for me was definitely an incredible technical achievement after going through this course. But more importantly, I believe that it has strong capacity to serve as a force multiplier for organizations, along the likes of FEMA, Red Cross, and other local responders. So, by automating this triage of millions of incoming messages you can find on social media, it's possible to dramatically reduce the human bottleneck and ensure that, like for example, a trapped family isn't missed in a sea of incoming social media retweets and things like that. Okay, so thank you for your time. Now I'll um, indulge you in a brief demo of the application on Streamlit, if possible. And yeah, I truly look forward to saying that when every second counts, DisasterLens will get to the point to ensure that AI prioritizes lives. Okay. Um, are you able to see the platform right here?
Yeah, we can see a screen.
Okay, great. So this is the homepage. It provides some more information on how the application was actually developed and works. And then we have where you can actually get into things with the dashboard. So over here, you can see that you can load the sample data set to get started, for example. So once you do that, this is all synthetic data. So it's just, it was created on like my own basically, and just provides sample tweets and classification based on that, which is what I used to train the model, pre-training it actually. So you can see that there were 200 total posts in this, and then since it's synthetic, we have a good number of all types, critical, low, medium, and high, and along with locations as well. So with all of those, with all that data, in turn, um, you can find all of the graphs that actually give you a good representation of what's going on. So you can see the urgency counts, correct? And then disaster types, and then more distribution data and things like that. And then a very important point is locations as well, because obviously you need to know where something is going on so you can um, address it earlier. And then you can also actually see the data table. So over here, you can look at the text, urgency, disaster type, things like that, and then also use filters and toggle it to sorts. Now, if I wanted to upload an actual CSV file, I would do that by clicking this upload button over here and look at the crisis NLP dataset that I found. which can be found on Kaggle, but Crisis NLP also has a specific separate set of data that's extremely helpful as well. So then you run it back, you see the same thing, and this has 2,000 posts. So then we go through all of that using the ML classifier, and then it provides you actual relevant data based on this data set. Okay, and users, if they just want to analyze a simple post, things like that, they can just put in that one post or even a batch of posts or several posts at a time, and then it will do the same thing. Yeah, so I clicked hurricane and we're going to analyze the post, and then it provides you results saying that, oh, it's critical analysis, and then we look at the confidence score and the sentiment analysis as well. Okay, next you can see the live map over here. If you zoom in, you can see even more specific geolocation activity. So, okay, you can see here that we have high urgency wildfire in Texas, and this happened April 9th. So, not too long ago, pretty recent. This graph is actually taken from NASA and USGS data, and that's relatively real time. So, not like same day, but it will show you data very recently from a couple of days before, things like that. Okay, next we have our EDA, and this is based on the data that you uploaded in the dashboard. So your CSV file, which in our case was Crisis NLP, and then you can look at the bigram analysis, and this shows you which phrases go together most of the time. Yeah, another cool feature that I actually found could work, which is super, super interesting, was word cloud. So it actually looks at the most prominent words in the data set. Like you can see the locations, and then you can see some more bigrams, and yeah, and the disaster type, things like that. And then some more urgency distribution and graphs. Um, yeah, so you do get a lot of data analysis, like the brunt of what is going on. Yeah, so that's what you can see. And then how I wanted this to actually be implemented in real life was as a live social media feed. So when a disaster is actually occurring and people post on social media because like police hotlines get overloaded really quickly, so they turn to social media to post. It's not possible to like go through all those tweets and find like, oh, this is occurring and we need to get there like really fast. So what I attempted to do was use um, posts from social media platforms that are prominent, like Reddit, Twitter, and Blue Sky, to actually be able to do some of this and sort through all of that data out there, those posts, and actually find what's critical, what's high, what's medium, and needs to be tended to immediately. Reddit and Twitter were actually kind of difficult to configure, so I haven't done that as of yet, especially because they also require a significant amount of like payment in order to receive the API. But I was able to configure Blue Sky. So as you can see here, they provide several. We found several tweets on flash floods, right? So these are classified under medium urgency, and then you can see more details in the specific posts themselves. Um, so yes, this was my presentation. Thank you so much.